Yes, guys, what's going on? Welcome to Adam McKola TV. This is the Aftermath Live with myself, Adam McKola. Hope you guys are all doing well this morning. My face, it looks tired. It is tired. It was a long arse drive back from Norwich last night, but it was worth it because Manchester United beat Norwich 3-1 on the night. Goals from Scotty, Too Hotty, Marcus Rashford, and Toto grabbing the win for Manchester United. We did concede late on, which was really frustrating because a clean sheet would have been a good result for the back four and David De Gea, and it would have been a good confidence booster to them to keep another clean sheet this week. But unfortunately, we didn't. Nevertheless, it was still a very good night for Manchester United, but one that I'm guessing you guys and myself can't get too overexcited about. We can't get too carried away about. We've got some big games coming up. A big game in 2 days' time against Chelsea, and then another big game back in the league against Bournemouth on the weekend. So these are games that we have to get results in. We have to be picking up points. We have to be hopefully progressing in the League Cup as well, because you know what? The cup competitions are important for us this year. If we want to have a good season and we want to feel like this season has been a success, then yes, we want to see improvement on the pitch. We want to see improvement in Ollie. We want to see good progressive football and the team getting better as the season goes on. But also, we want to hopefully win something, and probably our best opportunity of winning something is that those cup competitions, the Europa League, the League Cup, the FA Cup. If we can beat Chelsea, which I'd say we're not favourites for, and they're in pretty good form at this moment in time, you'd always give the team, when United are playing Chelsea, you'd always give the one with home advantage, I think, the edge in that game. And they'll be looking to get revenge for the opening day defeat that they suffered against us. So it's going to be a difficult game, but we need to keep this run going, and we need to keep the performance levels high as well. And that's what I was impressed about yesterday. We did revert back to a 4-2-3-1, which I expected. And if you remember my predicted team, you'll also be aware that I got just the one player wrong. I thought Brandon Williams would start. Ashley Young started instead, but the rest of the team I got spot on. It was a 4-2-3-1. McTominay, Fred, Pereira in the midfield areas, with Pereira just off the striker, Marcus Rashford, Danny James in the wider positions, and a back four, Ashley Young, as I said, with Lindelof, Maguire and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. And I thought everybody played pretty well. Scott McTominay made that mistake towards the end of the game. Marcus Rashford missed a penalty. Anthony Martial missed a penalty. But we weren't talking about that because their overall performance was good. And that's the thing. You can get away with errors when you're playing well. When your overall performance is good, we can forgive you for making mistakes. Footballers make mistakes. It happens, but we need to see a performance level, not a commitment level, because I believe most of these players are all committed to the cause. But we need to see a performance level there, application every single game, not going through the motions in some games. And to be fair to Scott McTominay, even when he's performed badly this season and last season, he's always had that application and the work ethic and everything else. But it was great to see Martial, Rashford linking up together yesterday. That third goal was a really delightful goal to watch. Obviously because it looks good. When they're passing the ball to each other, moving at speed. Marcus Rashford with a fantastic back heel. Anthony Martial's finish. I think it's a little bit, it's gone under the radar a little bit because the move was quite good. But if you look at how close to him the goalkeeper was, the dink, the subtlety on the dink to just get it over him and into the net, enough power to get it in. It's a great finish by Anthony Martial, and one that a player that's only in confidence, is confident in their ability, can do. What a finish by him, and it was good movement in between the line. And what I was happy about Anthony Martial yesterday as well was his ability with his back to the goal, with defenders behind him. He looked more comfortable doing that yesterday, and he brought others into play with him. And we haven't seen that enough with when other players have played in the 9 position. So bringing Martial back into this team has proved to be a massive, massive bonus for Man United. And we knew without him we were going to be a different side. And Marcus Rashford with him alongside him is a different player as well. So great to see from them too. But like we're going to keep saying in this video, we need to see it again. We need to see it again. We can't be getting carried away by beating a Norwich side that have just been promoted and may be involved in a relegation scrap. But the positives are first away league win since February, 2 away wins in the week, having beaten Partizan Belgrade in the Europa League. So having gone on that horrible run, we've now got that record off our backs. Let's hope we can keep it up, because we've got 2 more away games this week. I'm going to be diving into the comments as well here on Adam McKola TV on the Aftermath Live. So we'll be getting into the comments very, very soon. I'm seeing loads of yous in here at the moment. Billy, Braden, Arthur Furos, Michael says, did I enjoy the game? Of course I did. Hussein's in there. The Tactical Show is in there. Amar V8, please debunk Tony Martial injury record myth. It's actually not bad at all. It's being dropped, etc. Yeah, I totally agree with you, Amar. I do. He has had little niggling injuries over the years, but he's mainly been kept out of the team by others, or by not being selected, like as you mentioned, in that period of time between Alexis coming in and the back end of that season. He wasn't being selected anymore. I think he's showing how good he is now. Sharam says yes. How you doing? Good to see you, mate, in the comments. Issy, we got Toronto in the house. Sayesh says Scott was excellent. Great build up and finish for the 3rd goal. Billy is buzzing. Happy Diwali mini, and to anyone else celebrating as well. Kaz, how you doing? Pratulia says he never knew 7th could feel so good. Rashford plays well on the left side. So yeah, I think that's his position. Even for England, look, it's going to be hard for him to get in ahead of Harry Kane. And even then, on the wider positions, we've got competition in the form of Jadon Sancho, Raheem Sterling. England have some very good players in those attacking positions. Marcus Rashford for England holds his own up there with all of them. But that's probably the position where he's going to get more game time for club and country. And I think that's where he is actually, better. We don't want Pogba. Scott is better than him. Says, yeah, come on, mate. Relax a little bit. We just about beat Norwich, yeah? You may have seen that fan cam yesterday where I was having a chat with Tom, Kane, Finley, and all the boys. And some lads jumped in and were like, Pogba, he's a mercenary. We need to get rid of him. And it was just like, why are we talking about Pogba again? We've just won 3-1 away from home. Pogba didn't play him. Here we are talking about him. It doesn't make sense. And I think he's one of our most talented players, actually. Yes, he might not be here next season. And okay, I can understand people saying we need to look forward to a future without him if he is going to leave. Fair enough. But not being good enough for United, or, all that is just a bit weird to me. Daniel James reminds me of a young Giggsy, says Nikolai. Where do we do the FTD fan cams, says Luke? If it's at an away game outside the away end, if it's at Old Trafford, we do them by, it's like hotel football. You walk out of Old Trafford, past hotel football, and you'll see us by the traffic lights. It's a crossroads where there's roadworks and Sir Alex Ferguson Way and all that stuff. We're on the crossroads there by the traffic lights. Martial is the difference, says Minnie. Wan-Bissaka is a monster, says Boxing Stuff in the comments. Any other comments I can read out right now? Man, defo needing straight up D's in the house. Yo, D, you on this Chelsea preview tomorrow night? Let me know. We'll get it cracking. But yeah, this is the aftermath. As you know, usually with D, D's not here, but I've just asked him to be on the preview tomorrow, so hopefully he'll hook up for that and you'll get D back on your screens and we'll get a catch up with what D's thinking of it all at the moment. Wow, I've got some player ratings for you as well today, so let's dive into them. I've gone with 7s for all of the back four, apart from Ashley Young. I don't think Ashley Young had a bad game. I just think 7 means you had a good game or a very good game, and I don't think he had a very good game, but he had a decent performance, which is, yeah, average performance. Scott McTominay got my man of the match, although it could have been Martial as well, but I thought Scott McTominay's performance, apart from the mistake to let them score that goal at the end, was pretty good. His goal was fantastic. He got us going. And if you're gonna, I didn't decrease any points from their score for the missing of the penalties and the losing the ball, which led to the goal. So I let them keep their rates because I thought they played well throughout the game. Danny James was excellent yesterday as well. His passing was very, very good. We saw his pass for Rashford's goal against Liverpool. And after that game, I came out and some will probably say I was a little bit too critical of him. But I came out and I said, look, he needs to be a little bit better in terms of, that final ball, because there's a few times when he could have played Rashford in and we could have gone 2-0 up. But in this game, he was very good. He obviously set up Rashford's goal. Now, I think Rashford has a lot to do, but the pass to find him is fantastic. Rashford's touch and finish, immaculate. And then he found Martial in the second half as well with a similar pass. And it was the exact same pass that Rashford could have found to James midweek against Belgrade. And he could have found to Rashford a few times against Liverpool. And he found it this time. Don't know whether he watched back that Liverpool game and thought, oh, here's a few opportunities I maybe missed, because this is what these players will learn. Rashford and Daniel James, Martial and Daniel James, they've not played together much. You see the link-up play between Rashi and Martial. Daniel James hasn't had the benefit of playing with these guys for years, so he will learn things as well. And maybe he saw that against Liverpool. There's been a few occasions where I could have just dinked it over the fullback, and because of the pace of Rashford, the pace of Martial, they're usually getting away from the centre halves. And you look at Rashford, timed his run perfectly. He was onside and the ball was perfect. So well done to Danny James. I thought he did well yesterday. Andreas Pereira, he was better in the first half, not too bad in the second half. He did well in that game as well. That's the kind of performance you want to see from him. Fred, keeping it simple, passing the ball, moving the ball on, won the penalty for one of the penalties for us. Had a generally good game. Good to see from him. And if we can get Pereira, Fred and McTominay performing more consistently like this, and then you add Pogba into the mix, hopefully we got a little bit of competition in there. James Garner coming off the bench. He's looked composed whenever he has played for the first team. Another player that could hopefully throw his name into the hat for positions in the midfield area. So it's good to see performances from these players. But you're not going to play a team like Norwich every single week. You're going to play teams that play in different styles. Norwich very much went for it yesterday as well. So they left spaces and they left gaps for us. And, other teams won't do that. So we need to find a way. But what Ollie's shown this week, and we mentioned it with Steve on the full-time Devils preview, we're a little bit worried that he's just going to stick with this back three, 2 wing backs, and just keep going with it because it worked in a game and then rock it till the wheels fall off. But actually, he went back. He thought, you know what, maybe for this game, 4-2-3-1's the better formation. So that's good to see as well. He's not just getting stuck to a formation. And I think the way we play shouldn't be a formation. The way we play shouldn't be, let's build around Paul Pogba or let's build around a player. The way we play should always be there regardless of who's in the team. So that when you do take Paul Pogba out, the team ain't falling apart. And you need to see the style of play being, high energy, high press, quick counter-attacking football, playing with pace. You want to play in that manner at all times, regardless of the formation. And hopefully we can move towards doing that. Because one thing that they do have in that midfield, which we probably haven't had over the years with the likes of Matic in there, Fellaini in there, is they've got legs. Pereira covers a lot of ground. McTominay covers a lot of ground. Fred has the ability to cover a lot of ground as well. So we have a lot of legs in there now. And if they can play well as well, bring the performances with them, then hopefully we'll see improvements in the midfield area, because it is a problem area for United. So do you agree with my player ratings? Scott McTominay, man of the match, but 8 for Martial, Rashford and Scott McTominay. Andreas Pereira, Fred, Danny James, Lindelof, Maguire, Wan-Bissaka, De Gea, 7s, Ashley Young, 6. What do you guys think? Get that in the comments below. Did Fred finally settle in, says Jinx. Let's not speak too soon. We've seen him have good performances. He played well against Liverpool. He played well in Paris in March. So, there's a long gap between those performances. So, let's just wait a little bit, yeah? When Pogba is fit, Fred should play as the number 10. Possibility. Or you could put Pogba there. Pogba should come into the Pereira role. He can also drop back if we're struggling and can still find a pass. Eric Bailly, when fit, is our best centre-half. Says Amar. And then Tesso said, pity is never fit. That is the problem in it with a lot of players. If they're not fit, you can't see how good they actually are. 100%, bro. I'll give you a shout later on today. Yaya's saying, yo, like the video. So do what Yahya says and like the video. Get hitting that like button right about now. 8 for AWB, he was immense. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, 8, says Asma and Mo Wada. Tesso says he disagrees and he thinks Wan-Bissaka was the man of the match. Listen, yeah, let's talk about Wan-Bissaka, because how can you be on a yellow card, be flying into slide tackles and winning the ball? Like, the geezer is sick, you know. Like, I've not seen a signing. Well, we've had 3 signings this summer. Danny James, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and Harry Maguire, and they've all settled in fantastically well. But Aaron Wan-Bissaka, a young lad, he had 18 months at Crystal Palace in the first team, moves to Manchester United for £50 million. He's playing in defence, and he's playing fantastically well. And it's so good to see. You know, we've had issues at fullback, at right back. We've had issues there. We've got maybe have one coming up at left back that can hopefully be resolved by the younger players coming through. But Wan-Bissaka at right back, barring injury, touch wood, nothing happens like that, he's going to be there for 5-10 years, fucking dominating that right back position for us. He's immense, absolutely fantastic player, and I'm delighted that we signed him. 50 million is looking a bargain right now. Dipter's still shocked, saying, Adam, we won away. Peter says 4.5 for Young. Galazzo says Lindelof still isn't convincing him. Yeah, Dipter saying, Adam, we won away. Proper shock. Schumann says Dan James is incredible. 8 for sure. Crossing, dribbling, everything. He's a great buy. Pratulia says, unrelated, but my thoughts on the Xhaka incident. Arsenal are fucking just they're just a joke, aren't they? First of all, I'm not a fan of booing your own players. I'm not a fan of booing your own players. I think it's distasteful. I can understand why some fans do it, and I can understand the frustration that leads you to do it. But let's be real here. Arsenal haven't been that bad this season. When you consider, you know, new managers coming in and is changing things and trying to move from Wenger. And Xhaka, I don't think he's a great player. I think he's bang average. How he's captain of the club, I don't know. And I think part of that cynicism towards maybe the captaincy decision, towards his lack of performance, and also to him walking slowly off the pitch, has resulted in all of those things. I think there's probably a dislike for him there as a footballer. But Arsenal fans are a special bunch, and you know, abusing a player like that, I'm not sure. So I'm not surprised by his reaction, because at the end of the day, he's just a man. He's just a human. You know what I mean? And imagine you're coming off the pitch, and you're getting them kind of pelters from your own team. Now he probably doesn't expect it to get applauded off in that situation, but you know, that kind like. I can understand why there was a reaction. Now, he probably went too far. But I can get it. Like, fuck them Arsenal fans, you know what I mean? He's probably thinking the same thing. Look, you idiots. Fuck you. Oh, God. It's good to see it going down over there anyway. Shambles FC. Arsenal captain's worse than ours, yeah. It makes you thankful for Ashley Young, doesn't it? Pogba injury fairy tale. Come on, GTA Red Star. Don't be so daft. The geezer played injured against Rochdale. You think he's going to play injured against Rochdale and miss France international duty and all that stuff just to piss us off? I doubt it. I doubt it. And he's not leaving in January, even if he does go. So with the Euros coming up, it's in his benefit to play. Nah, I think that's a bit unfair, to be honest. To be suggesting someone would be, you know, like that. Especially when you think about the injury they're talking about. It's an ankle injury. They'll be able to do scans and shit on that. He's given his all for 60 minutes and get booed. He's only a human. I agree with his reaction, says Tian. Talking about Paul Pogba, some of you may be happy with this, giving you a reaction to him on a whole. But Paul Pogba is out until December. Probably not till Christmas, so my title is probably a little bit clickbait in that. But it could be when you think of getting him back fully fit, fully, you know, with the races, especially with the, you know, it's an ankle injury. He had a foot injury just before that, I believe, as well. So if you're looking at that and you're thinking, right, We need to get him back fit. You can't rush him back. So he could be available for December, but you're not going to get him back fully fit and firing until a little bit deeper in the month. So it's a shame. It's a massive miss for us in that midfield area. I think he's a fantastic player. I don't get the criticism that he gets. In fact, I get some of it in terms of the fair criticism, consistency and all that. But you could ask that about the whole club, any player that plays for us. And in fact, Paul Pogba's probably been, over the last 2 years, our best player. So when you think of that, I find some of it unfair. But we need him back. Creativity. We're not going to beat every team. We're not going to score loads of goals every game. It's good to see Fred and Pereira coming in and doing well, but we need to get Paul Pogba back fit. Get him linking up with Rashford and Martial again. We've seen how they can, perform together earlier in this year. Around that glory period under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And to get all those guys back together will be great. We've already seen the impact that Anthony Martial can have on the team with his return. And I think Paul Pogba will have a similar effect in terms of lifting players around him as well. So let's get Paul Pogba back fully fit and playing for Manchester United. If he leaves next summer, so be it. To be honest, can't blame him. If I was a player of his quality at his age, with the Glazers and Woodward about, I'd be like, yeah, I'm off as well. So, I can understand it, but yeah, I hope we can keep him, and I hope he's back fit soon. So that's my thoughts on Paul Pogba. I don't know what you guys are thinking. Unrelated, can Chelsea make top 4? Yeah, I think they will actually. But then again, I think Frank Lampard is going to hit a period. Like, people are comparing him to Ollie right now. Ollie's had this period of 13, 14, 15 games with an immediate bounce and everyone performing. But also, Chelsea have a stronger midfield than us, and they have, the younger players that are returning or coming into the team. You look at Pulisic, you look at Tammy Abraham, you look at, Tamori. They've had the benefit, Mason Mount. They've had the benefit of young. They're a bit older than the likes of Angel Gomez, Tahith Chong, Mason Greenwood. They're in the same position of Axel, where Axel could fit in right now for us. And I think eventually, someone asked me earlier, Lindelof or Axel. I think Axel comes in and he takes that spot very soon. And that's where all of their youngsters are at the minute, in that kind of position. So, I do think they will hit a dip, but I do think they can get top 4. Julian says Martial and Rashford playing together is an absolute dream. Jinx says my thoughts on James Maddison. I want James Maddison at Manchester United. Hopefully we can sign him next summer. Would absolutely love if we could get him in at the club. It'd be great to see. I like James Maddison. Do I play Fantasy Premier League? I haven't played it this year. You know what normally happens with me? I make Fantasy Premier League team. After 3 weeks, I forget to update my captain or substitute some players, and then I just lose heart and stop being asked and stop doing it. So, no. If Pogba goes, I won't blame him since Tuso. Pogba left Juventus in Champions League to come to Europa. How can you question his love for the club, says Amar. I reckon Pogba will have a field day playing behind DJ, Martial and Rashford, all firing, says Terji. Ericsson in January. A few of you have asking. Erica has asked that, and someone else asked that as well. But I've lost that there. Tian as well. Can't see it happening. I'd take Ericsson. I think he's a quality player, and he probably just needs a fresh challenge. How old is he as well? He's not that old, is he? We need a little bit of experience in this team as it is. If he was one of a few central midfield signings, then yes. But how old is he? 27 years old. I'd take him. Bit cheap as well, because his contract's due for renewal. But at the same time, he's probably going to look to go elsewhere, as we saw in the summer. United were apparently in for him, and he didn't come. Erling Haaland would be amazing. Rave zone, but again, that's probably going to be one for the summer, if that's going to happen at all. Is Champions League football next year realistic? I think top 4 is going to be difficult. One win hasn't changed my mind on that. Speak to me in December. Things can change very quickly. Like you saw yesterday, we moved from like 15th to 7th. And if we win back-to-back Premier League games, win 3-4 games on a spin, you never know what can happen in terms of the table. I think it's going to be difficult. If we finish outside the top 4, I'd rather see us miss out on Europa League as well. Can't stand the competition. And I love us. If we're not going to have Champions League football, to have a run at the domestic campaign just on its own. No Thursday nights to bother us. But the Europa League, in terms of winning it, we've got a good enough team. We've got a strong backline, a good set of goalkeepers. If Martial and Rashford are fit, we've got goals. But it's a cup competition at the end of the day, and you can't hang your hat on anything that, you know, in a cup competition. So, yeah, we could get Champions League next season, but I wouldn't bet on it. What do I think of Heung-min Son? Fantastic player. We ain't going to get him though. We are only 7 points off top 4. My opinion is we will not sign anyone until the end of Woodward, says Peter. I don't get the hate for the Europa League, says Arta. I just think, imagine going into a season where you don't have the disruption of the Europa League. I think if you have a good campaign, you get top 4 anyway. And I think you're more likely to get top 4 without Europa League football. Having said that, if you just have 38 Premier League games plus domestic cup competitions for a season, and you make the right signings in the summer, you could have a very good campaign. Obviously, you have the thing of no European football, but do you think Europa League makes a difference? I think Champions League makes a difference to players whether they want to come or not. But if they're going to come and you haven't got Champions League football, I don't think Europa League football makes a difference. What about Kane? Keane says it's easy. Harry Kane would be a dream signing, but it's not going to happen, is it? Avishka says, do I think there's any credibility in the Saudi Arabia rumours? Possibly, possibly. Wouldn't be all for it, and I'm sure you've seen the video I did for Full Time Devils about it, but if you haven't, when we're finished here, go and check it out on Full Time Devils. We're going to wrap this up though in a couple of minutes, so keep your final thoughts coming through. Manchester United 3, Norwich 1. Next up, Chelsea. We'll have the preview tomorrow with myself and Dean here on this channel. So keep it locked to that. But yeah, what are your final thoughts? Who was your man of the match? Martial has 3 goals and 12 shots. Firmino has 3 from 32. So Martial's a very good finisher, mate. A very good finisher. Williams and Greenwood should start versus Chelsea, says Petulia. I agree with you as well. I'll give you my predicted team tomorrow. But I would definitely hope to see James Garner, Brandon Williams and Mason Greenwood starting in that game with a little bit of experience around them, a little bit of a stronger team around them. But start those 3. I think Brandon Williams can handle his own. I think you look at James Garner. I think he too could look after himself in there, and hopefully Mason Greenwood can get another goal. Score prediction for the game against Chelsea. I think it's going to go to penalties or something like that. Wouldn't be surprised to see a 2-2 or something, and then it goes straight to penalties, doesn't it? Fred was the weak link in that midfield, says Tyson. Great win yesterday. Martial's back as the number 9. It is great to see Tony Martial back in the number 9 shirt and scoring goals. But as good as it was yesterday, we do need to keep it up. And it was only Norwich. I say it was only Norwich. We still had to perform well. We did do that. We got the result. But now we need to keep it going. Chelsea in the League Cup, big opportunity to progress and knock out one of the cup competition favourites. When you're looking City, Liverpool, Chelsea, they'll always be close to the top of the favourites for winning these competitions. If we can knock one of them out on the way, that's great. Obviously going to be difficult being away from home, but hopefully we can get a result there. Then the biggest game of this week is obviously that Bournemouth game at the weekend. Another crucial 3 points against a side that potentially can get a result against us. But also, if we perform well, we can get goals, we can win the game. So, big games coming up this week, 2 more away games. Can we get results in those and keep it going? Fingers crossed for that one. But guys, this has been the Aftermath Live. I have been Adam McKola. You guys have been absolute legends. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you're keeping it locked live and loaded. We'll be back tomorrow with the Chelsea preview. Then we'll have Chelsea reaction from Stamford Bridge on Wednesday. Then the Aftermath live on Thursday. Then we'll have the preview for Bournemouth